Welcome to Women of a Certain Stage, the podcast redefining how we think about menopause. I'm your host, Lauren Turin, a passionate advocate for breaking the stigma and empowering individuals to navigate this transformational stage of life with confidence and clarity. Here, we're diving into a new era of menopause support, featuring expert advice, real-life stories, and actionable insights. Whether you're curious about building your personal menopause plan or you're looking to make an impact, you're in the right place. Let's embrace the change together.
So before we dive into the conversation about why you trained to become a menopause coach today, you're also an author, is that right?
I am, yeah.
Tell me a little bit about that.
So I've been writing for a very long time. It was one of the things that if you'd asked me when I was 7 what I wanted to do, or writer was one of the things.
Wow.
But that's the one that's persisted. Mm-hmm. The others were actor, and because my family were Christian and I heard a lot about it, missionary.
Ooh, interesting. That's fascinating.
Even though I'm now looking to be sort of a missionary for the menopause space.
It's all come together.
Absolutely, yes. And I suppose the actor thing comes in, being on a podcast or, being out there in front of a crowd.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm looking forward to doing that with you today and then having you have this share with as many people as you wish to reach. And I'll be supporting that in the background too. So it's interesting, isn't it? Those kind of childhood dreams. I think I wanted to be a nurse and then I wanted to be a vet. So I haven't done either or anything even close to either of them. So you've definitely followed your dreams through much better than I have. So what's your latest book? Tell me about that.
My latest book is Crystal Companions.
Ooh, fascinating. I was in New Jersey last year and the year before, and one of my girlfriends is massively passionate about crystals. So we spent half a day in a shop just learning about them. So what aspect is your book telling us about crystals?
So the difference between this and anything else, most crystal books just go, if you want calm, go for amethyst, or if you're looking for abundance, buy a citrine. They tell you the names of the crystals and the properties that they're supposed to have. And that's about as far as it goes.
Yeah.
They don't tell you how to use them or the nuances of which one is likely to be good for a particular type of calm, for instance.
Mm-hmm.
And I hadn't come across any stories that illustrated that. And I know that I learn best through story.
Mm. Yeah.
And my idea was to write stories showing how my characters encountered crystals and what they did for them and how they worked with them. And so a lot of people have said, oh, that's a brilliant idea. I wrote the stories and I was getting ready to publish it in time for the Tunbridge Wells Literary Festival last year, where I had a table. And at the point of accepting, I decided that I was going to add something to it. Because I had nothing to tie them together at that point. They were just crystal stories.
Yeah.
And then I thought, wouldn't it be fab? They were actually people at an evening class who've come to learn more about crystals.
Ooh. So is it a storybook then, just highlighting, that? Is it a story? Is it like a novel, but it's got stories of crystals woven into it?
The stories, so the students come to their evening class. They've told the teacher what their favourite crystal is. She's brought some along for everyone to experience them. And she asks the person to tell their story of how they encountered it and how it helped and how they worked with it.
I love it. And it's really funny because just in front of me, actually, I got the crystal that I was given I got that day I was in New Jersey, but I don't know what it is and I don't know what it's for. It just sits there and it's calming when I rub the back of it when I just want to have some peace. I don't know if you can see that. Anyone listening obviously won't be able to see a thing. But that's it there.
So there are actually, that looks like, you've got a little translucent bit in it, haven't you? So
I think it might just, actually you're right. Do you know what? I didn't even notice that. There is a translucent bit in it. I've had that for a couple of years and there it is. You just pick that up straight away.
which possibly means that it's a dyed agate.
Okay. What does that mean in English?
And it's an agate, but that's been dyed a different colour. You can get agates in all sorts of colours. I've got some in bright purple or bright pink, and they don't naturally go that way.
Got you. I mean, I was told that this was just an actual stone that was in shapes, but I think you might be right because, it's different colours of grey, and there are translucent bits. And that has just made me. Do you know what? That is a lesson, isn't it? Because we don't see what's right in front of our nose.
That's very true. Yeah.
That is fascinating. What a great reminder. Anyway, I interrupted your story about your book.
That's all right. So they tell their story, and then at the end of the story, the tutor hands out the stones, gets the students to make their own connection with it and say what comes to them, what they feel from it, and also tells them about other qualities that the stone has.
Beautiful, beautiful. So where can people get a copy of your book?
It's on Amazon.
And it's called Crystal Companions.
Companions by Karen Tucker.
Ah, fantastic. So tell me, when we first got in touch, you have a government email address. You have got an alternative side to you. You write about crystals. It feels to me like you've got this incredibly multifaceted world that you live in. So tell me how this all comes together.
Yeah, a friend of mine, I was at an in-person presentation that she was doing some years ago, and she mentioned a word that I went, yeah, that sounds like me. It's called multipotentialite.
Ooh, yes. So I think that's great. Yes, I like that.
It's fab, isn't it? So, I mean, I've always been a reader.
Mm-hmm.
I became a crafter quite early in life. I love making beautiful jewellery. I'm wearing various bracelets.
Yeah. Karen is holding her wrists up for anyone who's listening rather than watching this. Fantastic.
Yeah. So and all the crystal jewellery on there I made.
Mm-hmm.
So I had a little Etsy shop for a while where I tried to sell them, and I sold about a dozen things, but what mostly sells on there is my knitting patterns. So I kind of took the physical stuff off.
So you create knitting patterns as well?
Yeah, I have done.
Is there anything you don't do? Like, you've got so many things going on. It's amazing. I love this. I love this.
I don't drive.
You don't drive?
No.
See? Fantastic. It's funny because my son's 19 and he hadn't wanted to learn to drive. He didn't see the point.
I thought I was going to, but when I was 17, I got a job on a young workers scheme where it was slightly more than YTS salary, but it was so much under the radar.
YTS.
Yeah, YTS. Remember that youth training scheme? I wasn't paying tax, right? Yeah, right. Now what I was earning, and I wanted to spend money on other things. I could have taken driving lessons or spent them on something I actually wanted to do. So that didn't actually end up happening. I had my provisional driving license from my parents when I was 17. That was my 17th birthday present. Used it.
But you've just navigated life without having to bother with a car.
That's
I love that.
My ex-husband didn't drive either, but my current partner does. So
yeah, amazing. Amazing. So you've got your day job, you've got your crystals, you've got your knitting patterns, you've got your jewellery making.
Yeah.
And you have what?
As well.
And of course you are. What type of photography?
We love going out into nature with our cameras and taking photos of birds and animals and landscapes. But that doesn't really pay a lot of money. So we also have a people photography small business as well.
Got you. So what's a day job?
I am an admin for social services, hospital discharged.
Are you locked away in an office away from people that are being discharged, or do you have any interaction with patients at all?
I used to. Back before lockdown, I worked in Tunbridge Wells Hospital, and when there was a best interest meeting and I was minuting it, we would go up on the ward and we would be in the meeting with everyone else. And sometimes the client would be there, but often they wouldn't because they didn't have the capacity to contribute. But yeah, I've done that for 8.25 years, and I am taking early retirement from my local authority in June when I turn 60.
Oh, congratulations. Congratulations. So how are you going to fill your time?
I have, as you said, a lot of interest. I had shelves full of books I haven't finished.
Oh, wow.
I have courses I've started and never completed. And obviously my menopause coaching.
So how did you get interested in training to become a menopause coach?
Back in 2004, my marriage broke up, and the main part of the reason for that was my ex-husband descended into quite severe mental illness, and everything that he was going through got taken out on me. He says I did the right thing leaving him. His family don't agree, but he does. And I got curious about why and how he got into that deep hole and what we've done about it. He's never let me help him with it because he's a proud and stubborn man, I suppose. But we're still friends, which is lovely. But I started looking into the whole holistic wellness. I found an online training provider where I could do some courses which would allow me to set up a therapy business. My first one was stress management. That would probably cover an awful lot of people's requirements. And we set up my business. I honestly didn't have any clients for the first several years. But it didn't stop me. I left the company open and I kept studying. I kept getting certificates because I'm endlessly curious. You know, I just love learning about people and how they can heal and how they get into the pickle that they do, and that all of the sort of nuances and things. What I would have loved to do if I could have afforded it would be to train as a counsellor.
Well, never say never.
Well, no, I'm not saying never, but I haven't been able to do that so far because of cost.
Yeah.
You have to get to a level 4 to be able to offer it as an accredited service. And that's a lot of study and a lot of money and a lot of years. I didn't feel I could afford it. So when the opportunity arose at work to take up a level 5 diploma in coaching and mentoring, which is university level, it's just like, degree level, but it's just on the degree length. I fought tooth and nail to get it.
Yeah.
I'm not on a grade that would have allowed me to be on that course to begin with, and roll it out to the lower grades later on, but I fought for it and I got it. And honestly, best thing I ever did. Absolutely love it.
And then how did menopause pop in?
Well, I'm a member of the Menopause Cafe at work, and I think it was that the person who actually started the cafe had come across you and had put some links to some of your posts or your website. I can't exactly remember what now. It was a while ago.
Yeah.
On our Teams chat. Thought, that sounds interesting. Is a lot of the advice is don't be too generalist, niche.
Yeah. Okay. It's really fascinating because I've obviously been doing this for a long time, and also this is my fourth business that I've set up and run, but the one I've done longest. And each time you speak to a business coach or someone to help you develop your business, you get different advice and different input. But the last few years it's been like niche, make sure your messaging is like really refined so people can either opt in or opt out. I think that works really well. When I first started coaching, I'm a menopause coach for people or for women who are senior leaders in financial services. I mean, that's really niche because at the time, there weren't so many people there that I would have the choice of clients. And so that was as niche as I think I've ever taken it. But it did actually help me find the right people to work with, because I found people that were very similar to my background from financial services, being a senior leader. So I think niching does definitely help. So was it because you were told to niche, or was there something else about menopause that got your interest?
It was partly your story.
Okay.
And I remember, I'm postmenopausal, and I remember asking my mum a few years ago, you never said anything about your menopause. How did it go? And her entire answer was terrible.
Well, that was descriptive.
And she's never spoken about it since. Yes.
Fair enough.
So, and reading about other people's experiences, it's horrendous what some people go through and they have no idea why. If I can help half a dozen people to avoid that, fabulous.
Sure. Well, you're well on your way to doing that. That's for sure. We're going to come to that in a minute. So we had a conversation. You joined the diploma. Yeah. What's your experience of being on the diploma? You've obviously done a lot of training. So how did that kind of stack up with other trainings that you've done in the past?
Yeah, it was an interesting experience because, as you just said previously, the students come from all sorts of walks of life, all sorts of backgrounds and levels of experience of any kind of talking therapy, I suppose you would call it. And
from zero to very, very experienced.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm sort of probably just above halfway along that spectrum, having only qualified last October. But it was quite an intense course. We had a lot of practice, and I did quite a lot of practice clients along the way as well, just to get myself a lot of extra experience. And we coached each other inside the workshops and outside them. So I've done as much of that as I could reasonably get hold of. So I found it a fascinating experience. Sometimes it was really helpful that some of them had less experience, and sometimes it was a little grating at times because, as you do when you're learning something, they focus on some of the details that I found less fascinating, shall we say. But you expect that, don't you?
Yeah, for sure. So what were the kind of key takeaways from the program? What did you enjoy about it?
I enjoyed meeting them. Enjoyed having the one-to-one mutual coaching sessions. That was fabulous. I love that. And, one or two of them, when I got into the breakout room with them, were like, oh, I've been wanting to talk to you, which is really nice. The Menopause Plan has informed my coaching program that I'm putting together. I've done it slightly differently, as you said, was, perfect.
I'd love to hear about that. So I'd love to hear about that, because just before we jumped on, you were talking about the fact that you're in the third session of a cohort just now and you've got another cohort coming up. So tell me how you've taken the Menopause Plan and developed it, because this is something I encourage my students to do, is to make it their own so that you can deliver something that's really authentic to you, that's really personable and really speaks to the type of people that you want to work with and the way you want to work. So how have you adapted it and developed it?
So I've put a lot more mindset and personal awareness and development into it. So each session, and there are 6 in the first cohort, there's probably going to be 7 in the second, because I think I'm struggling to fit it all into the sessions. Each session has a sort of mindset element and a physical element. So the first session, for instance, was about motivation, what they want, why they want it, putting together the goal and getting clear on what they actually would like out of life. And then we went into hydration at the end of it, and always end with a bit of a takeaways thing so that they can sort of remind themselves what they got out of it. So the other thing that I've changed considerably, I've got a fair bit about nutrition, but my take on nutrition, back in 2021, my partner and I went keto. And health-wise, that's been the best thing I've ever done for myself.
Is that something you've done long-term, or did you just do it for a short time?
We are still doing it. We take breaks every now and then because it's good to keep metabolically flexible, and we allow ourselves the odd cheat meal as well, but we mostly just eat largely ketovore, actually, which is kind of mostly meat, but with small additions. I lost 1.5 stone in the first 2 months.
Wow.
I got so much energy, and I have never been an exercise freak. I was built for comfort, not speed, as they say. And yet, within 4 to 6 weeks, I can't remember exactly, of going keto, I was not only going out for a run voluntarily, but I was running uphill.
Wow.
And that's what I wanted to do. I loved running uphill. Unfortunately, that has kind of dropped off a bit, but and I'm still trying to work out why. But I got my brain power back. I got my energy back. I got me back to a large extent. My creativity started coming back. All sorts of things. And I was so impressed with that I actually did an online keto weight loss coach course.
Okay, interesting.
So I'm certified for that as well.
I mean, you're the archetypal lifelong learner for sure. For sure. So what's next for you? What's your next learning journey? Because I always say to people, complete a certification, implement it, learn from it, and then do the next thing. So what's your next journey? Where are you going to develop your skills next? Because I know there's going to be something.
Oh gosh, yeah. I mean, I'm already in progress, right? I don't have just one course going on. So
Okay.
I have a spiritual life coaching course that I'm about 2/3, 3/4 of the way through. I've just got onto the business side of that, but it's been so long since I started it, I'm going to have to go back and remind me. But I've done a chakra and tarot coaching course.
Coaching? Chakra and tarot coaching course?
Coaching, yeah.
So what's this? Coaching using chakras and tarot cards, or teaching someone how to... Okay.
No, so it's working your way up from root to crown and giving you questions to ask the tarot and sort of ideas of what different what messages you might get from different cards. Questions to ask the client to consider. It's fascinating. It's absolutely...
Oh, I am going to have such fun coming out with the title for this podcast episode. What on earth am I going to call this one? Oh my goodness. Obviously, by the time people are listening to this, they're going to know what the title is because they've seen that before they're listening to it. But in the process of going through this, we have the conversation. I then download the transcripts and then think about what the title is going to be. So this is going to be a challenge. I have got no clue. Normally something comes to my mind when I'm speaking to people, but this is going to be a real challenge for me.
I have another coaching course, and I can't remember what it's called now, that I'm also doing. Plus the one that I got the place where I got the tarot and chakra coaching course from. I've got a couple of other courses to do with her. So one of the things I'm going to be doing when I retire in June is working on some of those. I'm so looking forward to it.
Yeah, amazing. So what is, just fast forward, it's June 2027. What does your ideal day look like?
I get out of bed having had a fabulous night's sleep and feeling really excited for the day. I might have a client call. I might have a writing call with some friends of mine. I have a couple of sessions a week with my writing friends, which is fabulous. I might have a meditation session. I went to a hairdresser's recently, and her client and I got talking, and she said, "Do you run meditation groups?" I said, "I don't, but I might be able to."
Oh, of course. I just feel I'm going to be saying "of course" an awful lot during this podcast.
Oh, a lot of years back.
Your energy is just magnificent.
Thank you.
Your energy is it's just magnetic. It's just phenomenal. I love it. I love it so much.
Funnily enough, that's one of my menopause coaching practice clients called it, magnetic.
Yeah.
What did your practice...
Yeah, I love it. What did your practice client say about going through the menopause plan with you?
Right. So she's an astrologer.
Okay.
And she works with clients at Midlife. And she had gone, menopause, nothing to do with anything. By the end of it, she's totally pivoted what she's offering.
Oh, really?
Actually, menopause is vital to understand. I need to include
hilarious.
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah, it's hilarious, really.
It's huge.
So she's pivoted her business. What about your other practice client? What did they take away from it?
My other practice client, I haven't quite finished.
Okay.
Well, I had one practice client in America, but she was having more and more health challenges and having to cancel. So eventually she had to dip out. So I have a few sessions from her. And then one of my colleagues on the social work side stepped in to take on the ones that she hadn't done feedback forms for. interestingly, the ones that we didn't need to do with her were the food ones. And by the time because there was a couple of weeks when we couldn't both make it, by the time I got into session 5, she just that day received a delivery of a pack of diet food.
Oh.
So she really didn't want to talk about menopause reset diet because she wanted to try that first. So we still got a couple of things to do, but we're halfway through session 6 because we're very much stuck on the idea that there is nothing she can do about the fact that she struggles to assert herself with her managers. And I run out of time. I'm doing that one in my lunch break, so I cannot go over the hour.
Correct. But that's good discipline, isn't it? It's always really good discipline when you've got that time restriction.
Yeah, slightly frustrating because it means it's going to be another week before I get this finished.
Yeah, but the good thing about that is it is a discipline and it does force the time, and that's why we have practice clients, isn't it? It's so that we get familiar with the scripts, familiar with the topic, and also we get to think about how we can nudge our clients along if they're getting stuck, or giving them space if they need it as well. So I'm curious, in your ILM 5, what skills or techniques have you picked up from that you're using in the menopause plan?
So
did you say you did your ILM 5?
Yes. Yes, my coaching and mentoring qualification, that was absolutely invaluable, honestly. And the thing that actually really shocked me about it was examining my values. So I had to do a knowledge test, a portfolio interview. So I had to present them with a portfolio of my work to prove that I was ready to go through the endpoint assessment. And then I had to be interviewed about it afterwards. And then I have 2 observed client actions I had to pass. I failed the first time because of the directive. But also she asked me about my values. And all I could tell her at that point was I'd done a couple of exercises online and come up with sets of words that were similar but not exact. So I said, I don't think I've quite nailed it yet. Second time, I failed it because I was completely not in the space. Honestly, I should have cancelled it. My head was just all over the place. And I even forgot to do the contracting bit, which was a small part. I completely forgot to do that. And in between that and the interview afterward, I wrote down that I'd forgotten it, and I even forgot to mention it in the interview. That's how awake the fairies I was that day. It was a complete washout. I had got a bit of a handle on my values by that point, and I thought that, and in fact, in the first one, I said one of my values was competence. I like to be competent at stuff that I undertake. Thinking about it, I realised that wasn't actually serving me. Because once I felt competent, I didn't go deeper, for one thing. And for another, when I felt properly competent, really, really good at something, if somebody seemed to challenge something I'd done in that arena, they got the sharp end of my tongue automatically. I would defend myself to the hilt without even thinking whether they might be right.
Interesting. What did you learn from that?
Well, what I found fascinating actually was I realised that this is not just me, it's my entire family. So it's inherited both in nature and nurture, as it were. You know, my eldest brother is known for the fact that he has a lot of accidents on the road, often with potholes and going in off the side of things and all sorts of silly things that are not to do with other drivers. But he will always blame somebody else. He absolutely identifies with himself as a perfect driver.
Going back to your experience of the Menopause Coach Diploma, and thinking about what were your key things that you enjoyed about that overall experience?
I loved having my Friday afternoons. I know you've said that you love them too, but you know, A, it comes across, and B, it's infectious.
Yeah.
And I was taking half-hour lunch breaks in order to take that time. And that was exhausting.
Mm-hmm.
But honestly, half an hour, that feels like 10 minutes.
Yeah, because I remember when we first spoke about it, you were like, I'm not sure if I can get that 2 hours from 2 to 4 on a Friday, to be able to do the program. And you did, you worked it out, you worked your way through. How did you manage to negotiate that?
I had to put in a request to amend my hours for a set amount of time. And I explained why, of course. And they were kind enough to approve it.
Cool. Did they get curious about it? Did they ask you anything about, how you might be able to help men with menopause?
No.
No.
There's no had to approve it, to be fair, is a bloke.
Okay.
So, yeah. So my head of service wouldn't have been interested anyway. My line manager, my upper line manager, hasn't spoken to me about it at all, which I find slightly interesting because she is probably getting into that period of her life. The next manager down, though, actually said today on our Teams call, do you know what, I need to talk to you about that.
Well, it's interesting because you clearly, working there, you have over 250 members of staff. And as of April next year, they will have to talk about menopause because they will be obliged to turn in a menopause action plan. So I'll be interested to see how those dynamics shift and change over the coming month, especially if you leave.
I think they think they've got it taped. I'm not entirely certain that they have, but we'll see how it goes. The problem is even a menopause action plan that is legislated for doesn't necessarily have to be promoted and followed. And it will be interesting to see how much. And be fair, actually, I won't be here. I won't be here. If I want to know how it's going, I'll have to ask people.
So you've woken up in June 27, you've got this really beautiful day where you might have some meditation, you might have a client call, you might have all these beautiful things going on for you. How do you see your retirement? What part, what most excites you about retiring?
Just having the time to do the stuff that I have never had time to do. For a lot of years, I've said I really don't have time to work.
Can understand why.
People ask me how I fit stuff in, and I say, well, I don't do much in the way of social media. I don't watch a lot of telly. I don't have any children, and I hardly do any housework.
I'm liking quite a lot of that. For sure.
Yeah, it works for me. But I can still do with more time. So I feel like I will have got through a lot of my to-be-read pile of books.
Yeah.
I will have finished a lot more of my courses. I will have had the time to sit down and journal on a more regular basis and do reflective practice and learn more about me, do more into emotional intelligence work. I'm still doing the whole know thyself thing.
Yeah. That's a lifelong journey.
Oh, absolutely.
That's a lifelong journey, for sure.
Absolutely. Partly because the more you know yourself, the more you change, and then you have to learn yourself all over again. Yeah. My absolute dream is to make so much money that I can set up a charitable foundation and help other people with things like studying and just, the basics of life if need be. I have a friend who desperately wants to finish his doctor training. I would love to be able to support that. One of my sisters would love to do counselling training. I'd like to support that. There's so many things that I want to do. I actually want to have, this is one of my big dreams, buy a big country house. Loads of friends and family into it. Build lots of eco houses in the ground.
Heaven.
And have a little farmstead where we raise our own food and things like that. I mean, that's and then, the coaching and the creating and the just being with like-minded people and supporting each other and having that community, that is something that I absolutely dream of.
And I have no doubt that whatever you put your mind to, you're going to achieve, because you're that type of person. You're so kind of softly focused. Like, I think once you put your attention, you're not, there's no hard edges, but you will absolutely go in the direction of, once you decide you're going to do something, that's it. Your mind's made up and you make it happen no matter what. So I wouldn't be surprised if I get a message from you in 6 years' time telling me that you've got your country house, you've built your college, your bits around it, and you're a now fully qualified counsellor.
This is entirely possible. Many years ago, one of my bosses sat me down for a supervision session, and the first words out of her mouth were, "So, Karen, when are you going to get your degree?" I said, "When I can afford it and I know what I want to do."
Well, there's always apprenticeships.
Exactly, and that's how I got my coaching diploma.
Exactly. So where there's a will, there's always a way to do something.
Absolutely.
It's been an absolute pleasure chatting with you, and I am absolutely going to be following you, watching what you're doing, noticing how you use all your skills to help other people. So Karen, thank you so much for being here today and sharing a little bit of your journey with us.
Thank you. And people can get hold of me through my website, embrace-thecoaching.org.
Thank you for joining me on Women of a Certain Stage. I hope today's episode inspired you to think differently about menopause and the incredible opportunities this stage of life brings. If you enjoyed this episode, please share it with 3 friends who need to hear this message. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a review. It helps us reach even more people. You can connect with me on LinkedIn at Lauren Turin, or visit our website at womenofacertainstage.com to learn more about menopause coaching, inspiring events, and corporate training. Until next time, let's continue making a difference, one conversation at a time.